Let's make super easy Parmesan chicken bacon pasta. Okay, we're gonna start this recipe by boiling some water and adding some pasta of your choice. You can use as much as you want for your family or for how many of you you're cooking for. I'm only doing for a couple people, so we're just gonna probably do about, I'd say, a cup and a half of dry pasta. And we're gonna let that go while we're getting everything else ready. While that pasta's cooking, we're gonna start on our sauce. So what we're gonna add to our pan on medium-high heat, we're gonna get that nice and hot, and we're gonna add 4 slices of our chopped up bacon. We're gonna give that a little bit of a stir to break up, and we're gonna let it render down till it gets nice and crispy. Once your bacon's golden brown, we're gonna just take this off the heat. We're gonna skim out the bacon, but leave all that bacon grease in the bottom of the pan. Okay, once we have the bacon set aside and the grease just left in the pan, we're gonna add 2 cups of mushrooms and half a cup of white onions diced. And we're gonna let that saute. Once the mushrooms are all done and golden, we're gonna do the same thing and take them off and put them aside. And if you don't have any oil left, we're gonna add about a tablespoon of olive oil now. We're gonna let that get hot. And then I've diced up 2 chicken breasts into bite-sized pieces, which we're gonna cook now. We're gonna put them in that pan and we're not gonna touch them until they're nice and golden on one side, and then we're gonna give them a flip. Okay, once you think they're ready, you can give them a little toss and a flip over. You want all that nice golden color on there. Okay, you really want that golden crispiness because that's what's gonna add a ton of flavor to your dish. So once we're fully cooked through, we're gonna turn it down to medium-low. Sprinkle over a heaping tablespoon of flour. And we're gonna give that a good stir and mix together. And again, you wanna let that flour cook for a few minutes too, so it gets a little bit of color on it, but you don't wanna go too dark. Okay, to that pan, we're gonna add 1 cup of milk. And we're gonna give that a good mix. This is where we can start seasoning. So I'm gonna add probably at least a teaspoon of garlic powder. And a ton of black pepper, and I prefer it fresh cracked. You can use other black pepper too, but this gives such a good flavor to pasta. And it'll start to thicken as it bubbles away here. I don't add salt yet because we're adding Parmesan. I want to add that first and then taste and adjust the salt at that point. Once that's bubbling, we're gonna add about 3/4 of a cup of good Parmesan cheese. And we're gonna mix that in too. And now we're gonna add our onions, mushrooms, and bacon back in. And at this point, you can actually turn the heat right off. Look how cheesy that is. Oh my goodness. And if you find it's thickening up a little bit too much, you can just add another splash of milk. I probably added another 1/4 cup of milk in there. At this point, you can serve it as is, or you can add some spinach to it if you like. Today, I'm gonna add some chard in it just to get some extra greens in there. I'm gonna add about a cup of chard from the garden. And you can do this with the heat off. The dish is still really warm, so you can just leave the heat off, stir it in, and let it sit. Okay, once our pasta is fully cooked, we're gonna take our sauce that we made and we're gonna mix it back into the noodles. Make sure you get all that goodness in there. We're gonna give this a stir and mix it in with our noodles. Oops, don't spill like I did. Now this is where I'll give it a taste to see if it needs any extra salt. And maybe just a sprinkle. And just like that, you have one pot, super easy chicken bacon Parmesan pasta. Enjoy.